Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. China has just proved US President Trump run and crossed a milestone that is already reshaping the global economic conversation. In 2025, the world's second largest economy posted a record trade surplus of $1.2 trillion. And despite the trade war with the United States, this is the largest trade surplus in China's history, and also the first time that it has ever broken the $1 trillion mark. What makes this number truly striking is not just its size, but the timing too. It comes despite renewed tariff threats from Donald Trump and the constant reminders of the great power competition between the United States and China. According to official data from China's Customs Administration, exports surged at the end of the year. In December alone, dollar-denominated goods exports jumped 6.6% compared with a year earlier, and this is more than double analyst expectations. Imports also rose 5.7%. Again, this is far above forecasts. For the first time, China's annual trade surplus pushed past $1 trillion, and it beat last year's already enormous $993 billion surplus. This wasn't driven by a boom in American demand. In fact, what's very telling in this scenario is that exports to the United States collapsed by about 20% year over year. Instead, Chinese manufacturers rerouted their goods elsewhere. Remember, I always say that the world is actively creating an alternative framework that would mitigate the risks of Western political ambitions. And this is precisely what's allowing the global South to continue growth despite Western economic coercion. In China, shipments to the European Union rose 8.4%. Exports to Southeast Asia surged 13.4%. That is significant. You see, this points to a very simple fact. China didn't just stop exporting because of the United States imposing tariffs and sanctions and imposing a variety of trade barriers. China just changed where it sells its goods. This redirection strategy is at the very heart of Beijing's response to Western pressure. When tariffs rise or markets close, when they become unavailable, Chinese producers actually look for alternative outlets. And that may precisely be why this record surplus is making China's trading partners very nervous, especially in Europe. Brussels has been warning that European markets are being flooded with Chinese goods, but this is of course indicative of the fact that Chinese goods are in demand in the EU. Remember that BYD just surpassed Tesla after all. China's total exports in 2025 grew 5.5% year-on-year. What's interesting is that imports, by contrast, were flat for the year as a whole. And that imbalance is what produces a surplus of this magnitude. Of course, and that's what makes it politically explosive for Western leaders. One way to explain this imbalance is by looking at export controls. Export controls imposed by China's trading partners may have prevented the country from importing more goods. The United States and its Western allies have tightened restrictions on advanced technology exports, a variety of chips, for example, and high-end semiconductors, which caused China's imports to decline in those sectors. It may be fair to say that if these barriers are lifted, if they are removed, China would indeed import more of those goods that it needs. According to Reuters' calculations, China's rare earth exports in 2025 reached their highest level in at least a decade. Shipments of the 17 key elements totaled more than 62,000 tons, which is an increase of nearly 13% from the prior year. Now, to play a devil's advocate here, it is worth noting that some economists see the surplus as a warning sign rather than a triumph. China's economy remains heavily dependent on manufacturing and on exports, but domestic consumption is weaker than one might expect. So while its export is extraordinarily strong, there are areas in China's economy that may need to be improved. And that could be said about any economy, really. With regard to trade imbalances, French President Macron made a very interesting comment during his Davos speech. He argued that decoupling from China simply doesn't work for Europe. And he said that, it is in the best interest of the European Union to re-engage China to gain a much-needed boost to Europe's economic growth. But he also noted that the EU should partner with China to contribute to mutual growth, to transfer technologies, not just import some devices and products into the EU. Take a look at this very short clip. I thought it was very interesting.
China is welcome, but what we need is more Chinese foreign direct investments in Europe, in some key sectors to contribute to our growth, to transfer some technologies, and not just to export towards Europe, some devices or produces or products which sometimes don't have the same standards, or are much more subsidized, are the one being produced in Europe.
Needless to say, economic policies and trade in particular have become very politicized in recent years. We've been observing tariff wars waged by the Trump administration, investigations, retaliations. The larger the surplus in China grows, the stronger Western governments may respond to it, because to them cooperation doesn't come easy. But economic coercion is sort of that default tool that comes handy when they feel threatened. And that brings us back to the core paradox of 2025, and likely this year 2026 as well. Trump's tariffs were meant to re-in China to effectively create obstacles to its economic rise. But instead, China posted its largest surplus ever. Exports to the United States fell sharply, but total exports actually kept rising. The pressure didn't disappear, it just shifted, and China recalibrated. That's what happens. What happens next will define the next phase in global trade. If the United States tightens further, China will look even harder to Europe, to Southeast Asia, and the global South. If Europe does push back, trade frictions will of course multiply. A $1.2 trillion surplus is not just a statistic. It is a signal that the global trading system is under strain, and that the old assumptions about who benefits from tariffs and who absorbs the costs no longer hold. By the way, I just uploaded an entire video explaining how US consumers, not foreign importers, are the ones paying for Trump's tariffs. Make sure that you watch that video next. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this quick update. I hope that it was interesting. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the subject. I would love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Take care.